We have spoken of inner fasting. From food, from noise, from toxic narratives. Now, let's turn the fasting outward. This is where our personal discipline becomes a collective power. This is where we move from healing our own bodies to starving the tumors that feed on these bodies. The system we live in is a living organism, and like any organism, it requires fuel to survive. What's its fuel? It's not money, not in its pure form. The fuel is our consent, our participation, our attention, our belief, and our daily choices that keep the machine turning. We have been led to believe that we are powerless passengers on this machine, when in truth, we are its battery. To stop feeding the tumor is to realize a simple, profound truth. They cannot sell us poison if we refuse to buy it. They cannot govern us if we withdraw our consent. Let's be specific. Let's name the tumors and understand how they metastasize with our cooperation. The first tumor, the predatory financial system. This is the system of legalized loan sharking, designed to create debtors, not citizens. How is it even legal for financial institutions to lend money created from nothing and charge interest that can multiply the original debt 5, 10, 20 times? The answer is a form of regulatory capture where the lawmakers and the predators are often the same people, writing rules to protect the practice rather than the populace. The system is not broken. It is functioning with perfect, ruthless efficiency. When you cannot pay, the full force of the state's legal machinery, the courts, the bailiffs, mobilize not to protect us, but to act as the collection agency, the muscle for the billion-dollar corporation. Our government, sworn to protect us, is instead enforcing our financial servitude. This is not an accident. This is the business model. The second tumor, the toxic food production complex. Look at the food that stains your fingers with artificial dye. Imagine what it's doing to the delicate ecosystem of your gut. This is not food. It is an engineered product designed in laboratories for addictive bliss points, not for nourishment. It is stripped of nutrients and loaded with inflammatory agents that fog the mind and weaken our bodies and create the very diseases, the diabetes, the heart conditions that the pharmaceutical industry then profits from managing. This is a closed loop of sickness, and we are both the consumer and the product. They are feeding us the poison and selling us the cure. We are paying for the privilege of our own decline. The third tumor, the manufactured division. We feel it every day. The us versus them tension. The political tribalism that pits together neighbor against neighbor. But research reveals a startling truth. The American public is far less ideologically divided than we are led to believe. Studies show significant policy overlap between ordinary Democrats and Republicans on many issues. The chasm is not between the people, but between the people and the political elite that has driven ideological polarization for decades. This division is a strategic distraction, a divide and conquer tactic as old as the word empire itself. It keeps us fighting each other over manufactured crises, while the real crises, the plundering of our economy and the poisoning of our food, continue unabated in the background. The media, both social and traditional, act as the amplifier for this discord, creating epistemic bubbles where only hear echoes of our own outrage, making the other side seem like a foreign and threatening tribe. We are being emotionally manipulated into handing over our power. So, we arrive at the central question. How do we stop feeding these tumors? How do we kill this cancer? The answer is the boycott as a fasting. This is not merely a temporary protest. It is a sustained conscious and collective withdrawal of consent. It is a fast from the products, the narratives, and the divisions that sustain the system. History and modern research show us how this works. Successful boycotts are not necessarily about causing massive, immediate financial collapse. Their true power lies in damaging a corporation's most valuable asset, its reputation. A study from Northwestern University found that companies experiencing a decline in public reputation are highly susceptible to boycotts, especially when those boycotts generate significant media attention. The Montgomery bus boycott and the United Farm Workers grape boycott succeeded by creating a sustained, visible narrative of dissent that made inaction more costly for the powerful than reform. The modern examples are telling. When Bud Light faced a boycott, it suffered a steep and prolonged sales hit. Why? Not because every beer drinker in America joined the boycott, but because beer is highly substitutable. It was easy for people to choose Coors or Miller Lite instead. This is a crucial lesson for us. Target systems where we have alternatives. But our boycott must be smarter than just punishing one corporation. We must be careful that our actions do not inadvertently harm the most vulnerable among us. Consider the dilemma faced by black-owned businesses, like the natural hair care company Rucker Roots. When a large retailer like Target faces a boycott, the owners express a painful conflict. Don't boycott so much that these black businesses that are worked, blood, sweat, and tears, that they will go bankrupt from these boycotts, because then that's just not the right strategy that we want to see. Our withdrawal must be strategic, not indiscriminate. The goal is not to destroy all commerce, but to redirect it. We must consciously shift our energy and money toward ethical producers, local farms, worker cooperatives, and community credit unions. We're not just boycotting. We are building a parallel economy based on different principles. This leads to the deepest level of the fasting, withdrawing consent from the division itself. The research is clear. Our affective polarization, our emotional dislike of the other party, is fueled by misperceptions. We are made to believe the other side holds vastly different and more extreme views than they actually do. The most politically engaged among us, the activists, often hold the least accurate views of the other side's beliefs. We are being played. The solution is to consciously refuse to take the bait. Stop engaging in the online arguments designed to generate rage and more clicks. Unfollow accounts that traffic in perpetual outrage. Turn off the 24-hour news cycle that profits from your fear. This is an informational and emotional fasting. By creating this space, you break the spell. You begin to see your neighbor not as a political enemy, but as a fellow human being who is likely just as concerned about putting food on the table, keeping a roof over their head, and protecting their children as we are. This philosophy of conscious withdrawal is not new. It is an ancient tool of the powerless against the powerful. The Stoics taught power of distinguishing between what is in our control and what is not. Our reactions, our choices, our consent, these are within our control. The political noise, the corporate advertising, the pressure to consume, these are not. By focusing our energy only on what we can control, we reclaim an immense personal power. In the Bhagavad Gita, the path of disciplined action without attachment to the fruits of our labor is central. We are called to do what is right, not because we are attached to a specific outcome or victory, but because it is the right thing to do. We boycott not because we are sure it will topple a corporation in a week, but because it is the correct expression of our values, regardless of the immediate outcome. And we see it in the Irish Land League of the 19th century, who so effectively shunned ruthless English land agent Captain Charles Cunningham Boycott that they gave the tactics its name. They proved that organized non-cooperation could break the back of unjust authority. The path is before us. It is a path of conscious choice. Fast from predatory finance. Withdraw your consent from the debt cycle. Pay down unserious debt. Move your money from a giant bank that gambles with your deposits to a local credit union that invests in your community. Support initiatives for public banking. Fast from toxic food. Withdraw your consent from the industrial food complex. Read the label. Buy from local farmer markets. Grow something, anything, yourself. Every meal is a vote. Fast from manufactured division. Withdraw your consent from the culture war. Curate your information diet. Seek out voices that build bridges, not bombs. Have a conversation with someone you disagree with, not to win, but to understand. See the human behind the slogan. This is the great work of our time. It is not a single loud explosion, but a quiet mass withdrawal. It is the sound of a billion small acts of refusal, accumulating into a roar of silence that the system can no longer ignore. We have been the battery. Now we become the source. We have been the consumers. Now we become the creators. We have fed the tumor. Now we starve it. And in doing so, we feed ourselves, our communities, and our future. Let's fast. The fasting begins now.